Hi, this is Gene Trowbridge of Trowbridge Nieh Law Group. We're securities lawyers. We help you and our clients when they're putting together a group of investors to buy real estate or do some other business venture. And I'm going to tell you about a success story from one of our clients. It's just a little bit different than what we normally do. This particular client decided that in addition to their vast multifamily syndication practice, where I think they've done at the time 58 offerings with us, they decided that there was a group of investors out there who needed cash flow. They were really interested in long-term passive cash flow. So this client decided they would buy single-tenant, triple-net leased real estate. Things like Dollar General, CVS, Family Dollar stores. And they did a blind pool, which meant at the beginning they didn't have any product, any properties identified. They were just going to go out based on their experience and their heavy database of existing investors and see what they could do. So they brought the blind pool offering out. It was very, very successful. They set out to do their offering with a $500,000 minimum raise. That was important because as a blind pool, they didn't have any products to start with. They didn't have any properties. So with $500,000, they thought they could buy at least one property, and then no longer would it be a blind pool. They could show their investors that they had a process. They've worked on their process. They've proved the offering, and they bought some properties, and that should help money raising. And so then they went on to raise $10 million. That's a pretty big offering. $10 million. Not the biggest offering we've ever done. We've done offerings. I think our largest one was $165 million. But anyhow, $10 million is a pretty good size offering. And their minimum investment for an investor was $50,000. $1,000 units. So there's a flexibility of an investor to invest more than $50,000. They could invest $55,000 or $87,000 or whatever. And this was a very simple, straightforward plan, an 80-20 split. 80% for the investors from operations, from sale, 20% for the sponsor. And in this case, the sponsor paid $1,000 to purchase the 20%, which was important so that the sponsor didn't have ordinary income day one. By getting 20% of something, they paid for it. It also set the sponsor up to get capital gains treatment on their share. And then this sponsor only took 20%, and that's pretty low in similar offerings. So what this sponsor did is they didn't make their 20% on disposition subordinate to the other members. On operations, the split was 80-20. No preferred return. And on disposition, the split was 80-20. No subordination of the investors getting their money back first. Just whatever was available was going to be split 80-20. And you can imagine there were going to be a lot of dispositions because there were going to be a lot of properties. Well, they took a 2 to 3% property management fee. They weren't sure whether it would be 2 or 3, depending upon the product they bought and what the fees in the local market would be. So they told the investors it would be between 2 and 3% of the revenue produced on each product. And to this date, they're through raising money. They've raised the $10 million. But to this date, they've purchased 27 single-tenant net leased property in this fund. And they've come out with a second fund to raise more money to go out and purchase more properties. So that's a real success story, and we were happy to be part of it by drafting the documents for them. So once again, this is Gene Trowbridge with Trowbridge Nieh, securities lawyers. You can reach me at 949-570-1507. And our website is www.TNLLP. That stands for Trowbridge Nieh LLP. Thank you.